Hello and welcome to Big Orbit's Cardfight Vanguard weekly update. My name is James and today I'll be going through the cards shown throughout the past 7 days. Megacolony's VR was shown this week with True Demonic Rifle Rogue gunning Coyote. He has the first skill of Auto Vanguard Circle. When placed, this unit gets plus 5000 power and plus 1 drive until the end of the turn. Then put the top card of your opponent's deck into the drop zone, and if it's a grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 10,000 power and plus 1 drive until the end of the turn. So the second part of this is very luck based, as the grade 3s are normally the least common grade in your deck. He also has the second skill of Act Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, cost Soul Blast 1 grade 3, put the top card of your opponent's deck into the drop zone, and your opponent cannot call cards with the same grade as those cards from his or her hand until the end of the turn. This is really good if you mill a grade 0, with it lasting the whole turn. Though, with no way of knowing what you'll get, it's going to be a bit disappointing if you mill a grade 3 after not getting one from the first skill. This is a good card, but very luck-based. Unrivaled Blade Rogue Cyclomatooth is a RRR grade 3 with Auto Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle. When it attacks, Vanguard costs Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets plus 10,000 power until the end of the turn. Then mill your opponent once, and if it was a grade 1 or greater, it gets plus 1 critical. This is a lot more reliable, as a lot of the cards in your deck are going to be grade 1, and working on Rearguard Circle should make it a very scary card later in the game. He also has Auto. When rode upon, your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand and discards it, and one of your Vanguards gets plus 5000 power until the end of the turn for each of that card's grades. I like the choice this gives your opponent, as they naturally want to get rid of a grade 2 or grade 3, which will buff your Vanguard even more. Hiding Killer Leaf is another big hitter with Auto Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle. When it attacks, costs Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets plus 10,000 power until the end of the battle. Put the top card of your opponent's deck into the drop zone, and if it was a grade 1 or greater, you draw a card. It seems the main threat of Megacolony is going to be in the rear guards for this generation, which the extra drive checks of gunning Coyote complements to help them get even deadlier. Not to mention that this draw power really helps with it working on Vanguard Circle and Rearguard Circle, and could put some early pressure on your opponent with the large power. Strong Acid Mutant Gerdslug is a defensive card with Continuous Guardian Circle. This unit gets plus 5000 power for each rest rear guard your opponent has in the back row. This is a step up from the 15k vanilla card that we had before. It has less power than the vanilla, but it would be at least 15k nearly all the time and can go up to 25k shield value. Machining get a bit of love this week. They get the RR grade 3 with Machining Ornamental. Her skill is Auto Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle. When placed, rest all other rear guards and perform one of the effects below. Cost Soul Blast 1, grade 3 Machining, and you can perform both instead of just one. Choose all rest rear guards, and they get plus 5000 power until the end of the turn, or your opponent can only stand up to 2 of his or her units during your opponent's next stand phase. That's a really strong paralyze, and this actually works really well with Spark Hercules, as Spark Hercules gets more power from the amount of rest rear guards your opponent has, and reducing the amount of rear guards your opponent can stand is pretty strong. Ultimately, the perfect support for machining Spark Hercules when he can just stand your guys right back up. Machining Lady Bomber is a less used. It's a grade 1 with Auto Rearguard Circle. When placed, Soul Blast 1, rest this unit, and choose any number from among all rear guards and rest them. If your opponent has 3 or less rear guards, you can countercharge one. You're relying on your opponents a lot with this, so they can easily play around it, and with no retiring, you can't really manipulate your opponent's field in the main phase to help this work. For Spike Brothers support, we have Flare Blast Coyote. He's a grade 2 with Auto Rearguard Circle. When it attacks, costs Soul Blast 9. Until the end of the battle, this unit gets plus 30,000 power, and your opponent cannot call Sentinels from his or her hand. At the end of that battle, put all your rear guards to the bottom of your deck in any order. The fact that this kind of skill is on grade 2 is really good, but Soul Blast 9 is a lot, and the penalty is quite big. But I can see people running 2 of this, and maybe making this the strategy for the final push. Spikes also get a RRR grade 3 shown this week with Bad End Dragger. His skill is Auto Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle. When it attacks, costs Counterblast 1, put a rear guard to the bottom of your deck, and this unit gets plus 5000 power plus 1 critical to the end of the battle. So that on its own isn't the best, unless you get some pretty good bonuses for calling things from the deck. Though also provided you're moving your force gifts around, the extra crit could be very deadly with the extra power you're getting. He also has Auto. When rode upon, call this card to Rearguard Circle and retire all your opponent's rear guards in the same column as this unit. Considering that has no costs, it's really good. A free unit while potentially removing 2 of your opponent's units is quite a nice move. It's quite nice that this and Cyclone 2 give you a brake ride feel. Detonate Barrel is another grade 2 with auto rearguard circle. When it attacks, cost Soul Blast a Detonate Barrel, draw a card, and this unit gets plus 10,000 power until the end of the battle. This skill works really well with General Scythe, who can put this card into the soul and bring out any card with the same name, giving this card the perfect fuel. And we've seen the grade 2 version of this card, but we have Elevation Wideout. A grade 1 with continuous rearguard circle. If it's on rearguard circle with a force marker, this unit gets plus 10,000 power. This is less useful than its grade 2 counterpart, but still really good on top of a force 2 marker, being able to get benefits from both markers. The final clan to go through is Tachikaze with Furious Signal Dragon Rorobario. His skill is auto rearguard circle. When placed, cost Soul Blast 1, put the top card of your deck down as an equipped gauge for one of your other rearguards, and that unit gets plus 5,000 power until the end of the turn for each equipped gauge on that unit. The unit chosen is going to get huge with the amount of gauges you can crank out now. Not to mention, a lot of Tachikaze cards can get their own power from the gauges through their own abilities. We also have Whiptail Dragon Bashercarno, a grade 1 with auto rearguard circle. When the attack it boosted hits Vanguard, costs discard a card from your hand or discard 2 equipped gauges and draw a card. This isn't a bad exchange, though it does use a fair bit of fuel if the VR's strategy is to gather gauges like it was with Gigarax. Very lastly, we have the promo card for Megacolony with Heat Gun Mutant Bratlaser. He's a grade 2 with auto rearguard circle. When it stands, this unit gets plus 3,000 power until the end of the turn. It's not really that strong. It works well with the machining build, with restanding their rearguards in the main phase. Still will likely not be used though, unfortunately. And that's everything from this week. Be sure to check out next week when I'll be going through the card showing throughout the next 7 days, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!